Hello, everyone. We're going to go ahead and get started. Thank you for joining us. As you can see, we have some of the housekeeping items on the screen. We won't go over them again, but just keep those in mind. And with all that being said, I want to welcome everybody to our annual report to the community and hand it right over to Reverend Rochelle Satchel Robinson to kick us off.
Hello, everyone. Good afternoon, and thank you so much for joining us this evening for the United Way annual report to the community. I am Rochelle Satchel Robinson. I am the vice chair for the board. I'm also the co-chair of the campaign this year, and we are super excited that so many of you have decided to join us. The COVID-19 pandemic has been a catalyst for innovation and is helping us to redefine our partnerships and how we drive and how we impact the community. COVID has required us to meet some challenges, and we are ready. We are ready to meet those challenges. We have demonstrated that we can mobilize resources and activate with agility to drive and impact the community. But these circumstances also have highlighted that our healthcare, education, economic systems are not at all resilient and don't work evenly for everyone. We recognize that, and we are here to do some great work. When you combine the pandemic and the economic fallout with the racial and ethnic awakening in the US and elsewhere, along with the focus on marginalized communities, we find ourselves in one of the most disruptive periods in our lifetimes. But we are resilient. We are ready to take on the challenge. We are ready to meet the needs of our community as we face them with them, not apart from them. This disruption comes as an opportunity. I would argue it's our responsibility to reflect all of these systems and how they are designed to benefit all of us. Our vision at the United Way in Erie County is an equitable, thriving, and united community. And we can achieve this through collaboration and through leadership. And we have accepted that challenge. We must therefore modify our systems, including the United Way system, so that we can respond more effectively to all people's needs, to all of our community. Today, our focus is to respond, our focus is to recover, our focus is to reimagine, and our focus is to rebuild. In the wake of a pandemic, we are ready to respond, we are ready to recover, we are ready to reimagine, and most of all, we are ready to rebuild. And we are ready to make our mission and our vision and our values make sense. We are ready to make them relevant in this very time. And now I would like to introduce our fearless leader, Mr. Michael Weiner, President and CEO of United Way, to share with you how we are going to do this in this unprecedented time. Michael?
Thank you so much, Rochelle, and a special thanks to everybody for joining us. I see we've got a very large crowd involved, and I'd like to think about myself as fearless, but in this unprecedented time, anything goes. My job today is to give you a little flavor of our new strategic plan. I want to talk a little bit about the work we're doing around equity, and we felt very strongly that the audience would also be interested in getting an update on the activities we've been engaged in around COVID-19. And then at the end, what we really want to do is we want to celebrate our Philanthropist of the Year, and more to come on that later on in the program. So as Rochelle has mentioned, this has been really a very critical year for the United Way, both locally and as a network. United Way is unparalleled in its central role to be partners, providers, and resources to address the needs of a community in crisis. And this has never been more important than right now. We have been responding to local needs and society's most pressing problems, as many of you know, for over 100 years. COVID-19 is a new challenge for us, but we're up to the challenge. United Way was built for this. And we're very fortunate to have already initiated the process of building a new strategic plan that positioned us very well to support our community as COVID-19 unfolded. In September of 2019, the United Way began a collaborative process to update its strategic plan. We sought feedback purposely from current and former donors, community leaders, not-for-profit partners about our role in the community and how we can best meet the challenges of a dynamic and changing environment. With the guidance of a 30-member task force drawn from a diverse group of individuals led by Catherine Conway Turner, vice chair of our board, as you all know, president also of Buffalo State College, and Steve Bell, a former board member and current advisory council member. We took their feedback and the data that was collected and charted a new course for the organization moving forward. This led us to an updated mission statement to reflect the role of our United Way in creating a meaningful and sustainable community change. You could see it on the screen here to bring people, organizations, and resources together to create systemic community change. The community-led process also guided us in creating a new vision statement. As previously indicated in Rochelle's opening comments, we envision an equitable, thriving, and united community achieved through collaborative leadership. And we updated our core values to also include agility and equity, two values that have been elevated as we confront the current social and health crisis affecting our community. As we prepare to finalize our new strategic plan in early March, the community was stopped in its tracks by the COVID-19 pandemic. In the weeks that followed, we worked alongside community service providers, individual donors, corporations, organized labor, foundations, and the government sector to mobilize resources in response to basic emergency needs and to serve as a voice and a resource on behalf of the community. In the midst of our work to address this crisis, it became clear that our efforts were both informed by and reflective of the mission, vision, and values, as well as priorities outlined in our new plan. We are now invested in focusing on the execution of our new plan with the following priorities, and you see them listed here: utilizing data-driven, equity-informed decision-making, strengthening organized or organizational communication, prioritizing and addressing existing and emergency or emerging community needs, supporting the not-for-profit sector, and delivering best-class experiences for all of our constituents. And with the inclusion of agility and equity as new values, we have the opportunity to foster a culture of responsiveness and flexibility conducive to innovation in every area of our business model, while assuring that our policies, practices, and distribution of resources prioritize historically marginalized communities so all individuals will thrive. While we know we have significant work ahead of us, we're excited about the focus and the direction that our new strategic plan will take. And its alignment with the external environment we are currently facing well positions us to bring value to those most in need moving forward. I want to note that the new strategic plan is going to be posted on our website shortly. So when you get a chance in a couple of days, go to uwbec.org and you'll get a chance to enjoy and go through a thoughtful read of the entire plan. Let me move on to equity. Every person in every community must do their part to make our communities the places that we need them to be: equitable, respectful, and providing opportunity for all. As a society, we can and must do more to guarantee that the basic human rights and freedoms of every person in every community are protected and ensured. We are in the process of rebuilding for a better, more equitable, and more resilient community. We don't want to go back to normal. Normal wasn't working for us and for many people, and old and broken systems won't fix those challenges. That is why we have made a commitment to equity, not just through our updated strategic plan, but we have also joined a network-wide effort to center equity in every corner of our organization. For example, we recently voted to approve new United Way worldwide membership requirements that would strengthen the network, commitment to ending racism and ethnic discrimination, ensuring that the United Way stands behind its commitment to fighting for every person in our community, in every community as well. These membership requirements include what you see here listed: developing and maintaining and publicly posting on an organizational position opposing all forms of discrimination based on race or ethnicity. Secondly, to conduct annual equity training focused on race, ethnicity for all staff and board members. And finally, to develop and use equity as one of the criteria for making future community investments. In addition, over the past 18 months, I'm very proud to report that we implemented an internal TIDE Council. TIDE is an acronym for Team for Inclusion, Diversity, and Equity, with a focus on learning about racism and inequality together, helping shape organizational policy and practices, and providing guidance on future recruitment strategies. The council includes a diverse workforce, and now we have several board members that have joined the council as well. And externally, we're focusing on marginalized communities. We're increasing our affiliations with key coalitions and community leaders of color. We're assisting the not-for-profit partners and other key stakeholders on increasing their awareness on racial equity considerations and engaging and collaborating with our board members to learn more about best practices in this realm. We appreciate that words are not enough, and when it comes to moving the needle on racial equity and social justice, this is why the initial action steps we've identified not only aligns with our new strategic plan, but allows us to grow, become better informed, and strengthen our approaches moving forward. Let me now move on to our efforts around COVID-19. United Way was born out of an extreme need, the emergence of World War I, and we have been responding to local needs and society's most pressing problems for more than 100 years, as I indicated earlier. There is no question that COVID-19 has completely changed the way we live our lives and conduct business. The landscape is so different than it's ever been. While we're doing all we can to mitigate the immediate impact of the virus, no one truly knows what the scope of what will be required to rebuild communities over the near and long term. But together, we will overcome the social, health, and economic crisis. United Way was built for this, and our strength is in our scale. I'd like to take this opportunity to just highlight a few high-level examples of how our United Way has responded to COVID-19 over the last 8 months. We were one of the 4 lead organizations of the West New York Philanthropic Response Coordinating Work Group, which mobilized the generosity and the experience of the philanthropic community to provide a coordinated and collaborative response to this unprecedented event, with a focus on emergency responses targeting basic needs. Through this work group, we partnered with the Community Foundation of Greater Buffalo, the John R. Oshai Foundation, and the Health Foundation of West and Central New York to create the West New York COVID-19 Community Response Fund. That fund generated over $7.5 million to date, and over $6.5 million of that fund has been already distributed to West New York not-for-profits on the front lines of the pandemic to address critical needs. And over $740,000 of that was generated through an online portal managed by our United Way over a 10-week period that saw over 1,800 individuals and over 20 corporations and foundations making donations. I'm also very pleased to report that 211 West New York, which is primarily funded by the United Way and also serves 7 counties, West New York counties, became an invaluable asset during the pandemic. They have become the go-to resource for people to call to get the most up-to-date information on available resources like food pantries, personal protection items, childcare, and help with housing and unemployment insurance, just to mention a few. It's a 24-hour, 7-day-a-week information and call center that we're proud that it represents not only an emergency resource, but a viable and invaluable resource for people, particularly in great need. As a funder, we also work closely with our program partners to not only learn more about what their challenges were, but also to find ways we could best assist them during this unprecedented and uncertain time. This assistance included partnering with the West New York Nonprofit Support Group to put together a comprehensive list of resources, leading the administration of a West New York regional nonprofit survey on behalf of the philanthropic community that saw over 350 agencies respond. We also conducted listening sessions, and we're being very flexible in our own funding requirements and reassuring our funded partners we're there to support them. And finally, we actively engage in advocacy efforts and continue to engage in advocacy work in critical public policy areas, such as the not-for-profit, the CARES Act, for example, not-for-profit prompt payment on the state side, the Safety Net Assistance Program, tax credits, 2.1 funding, childcare, charitable tax credits, and charitable giving, and the list goes on. This has been a very important framework for us to work from as well, and to be a voice, a public policy voice on behalf of the not-for-profit community. But COVID is not the only crisis our community is facing. And we often talk about the inequities associated with families living under the federal poverty level. But what about those families identified as ALICE? ALICE is an acronym for asset limited, income constrained, but employed, commonly referred to as working poor families. The health and economic crisis from COVID has underscored the depth of existing inequalities. And these inequalities or inequities are apparent from the research done in our most recently updated ALICE report. ALICE families have an income above the federal poverty level, but are still struggling to afford basic household necessities. In 2018, 27% of Erie County households fell within the ALICE definition. When you combine that percentage with the 13% of households that live below the federal poverty level, we have 40% of households, or over 155,000 families in Buffalo and Erie County, who are financially insecure. And if you start looking at specific zip codes, like the Buffalo zip codes as an example, there are zip codes with 60% of families that are ALICE or under the federal poverty level. So this is very alarming. The report also demonstrates the disparities between race and ethnicity and the likelihood of being classified as ALICE. The report reveals that 38% of Black households and 36% of Hispanic households in Erie County are ALICE, compared to 26% of white households. We're going to make this, I think this report is actually already available on our website, the ALICE report. We hope you get a chance to take a look at that as well. It's important to remind folks that these numbers represent pre-COVID analytics, and combined with local unemployment rate, which has averaged, unfortunately, 14% between April and August, and the fact that Buffalo has experienced the third worst employment decline in the nation, with a 23% reduction in private sector jobs, tells us there are significantly more families in crisis. And we continue to fight for the health, education, and financial stability of every person in our community. We're committed to doing it through an equity lens and making sure no family is left behind. Now more than ever, we must drive opportunity at the community level in order to improve the quality of life for those citizens most challenged. And that offers me a great segue to highlight two members of our community who exemplify what it means to come together and support our community in immeasurable times. And now I have this great honor of introducing Philanthropists of the Year honorees. The United Way TOEFL Society, named for the 19th century French nobleman Alexis de Tocqueville, represents the belief that individuals prove to be the real impetus for community impact through their compassion, their commitment, and their generosity. The United Way of Buffalo and Erie County's TOEFL Society comprises individuals whose generosity reflects extraordinary concern, foresight, and dedication to influencing positive change and inspiring a better life for everyone throughout our community. Every year, our Tocqueville Society names a philanthropist of the year. That Philanthropist of the Year award recognizes those who are the embodiment of what it means to live united, and all our honorees share a deep philanthropic spirit and a history of volunteer efforts. This year's honorees are Patricia and Bill Frederick, and I am so thrilled that they're here today. Originally, we thought because of a health scare, they would not be able to join us, but they're going to be here to help celebrate this honor. But I'm truly happy to report that last year's honorees, Paulette Crook and Michael Toner, are here to tell us a little bit more about this year's Philanthropist of the Year. So I'm going to pass the baton over to Paulette and Michael, and thank you all for being here.
Thank you very much, Michael. There is an art to staying humble, kind, and generous, and our 2020 Philanthropists of the Year have mastered it. For this reason and many, many more, we are honored to give this couple the spotlight they deserve but never seek. I am honored to name William and Patricia Frederick the United Way's 2020 Philanthropists of the Year. Bill and Pat were introduced to the United Way through Bill's job at Specific Solutions, where he started in 1974 and worked until his retirement in 2018. It was there that Erwin Katzman, a colleague of Bill's and a lifelong supporter of the United Way, encouraged him to get involved with their employee campaign. Ready and eager, Bill graciously served as their United Way campaign coordinator for 20 years. Bill volunteering on the campaign laid the foundation for the Fredericks' longtime relationship with the United Way and with so many of us here today. Beyond the workplace, the Fredericks are welcomed familiar faces at United Way events. Bill and Pat are the kinds of people who exude modesty and kindness, the kind of people who make a room of individuals better by just being in it. The Fredericks' longtime support of the United Way is amazing, and their thoughtful spirit makes them leaders in United Way giving. With a staunch commitment to this organization, Bill and Pat have been Tocqueville Society members for over 16 years. They are also Tocqueville Legacy Circle members, and as such, their incredible legacy gift will have an impact on our community for generations to come. As I'm sure you can imagine, the Fredericks' commitment to the United Way has been carried out quietly, selflessly, and ever so generously. Committed is a good way to describe Bill and Pat Frederick. Besides helping the United Way achieve its mission of building an equitable, united community, they are also committed to their country, to education, and to their family. Pat was involved with the PTO of both her sons' schools. They have graciously supported Canisius College, which Bill graduated from in 1969, and St. Joseph's Collegiate Institute, which Bill and his son, Scott, both attended. Their thoughtfulness and generosity has also made possible the William J. and Patricia Frederick Robotics Lab at Canisius College. And after graduating from college, Bill served in the Navy. Pat worked in sales at the telephone company, and through a mutual friend was set up on a blind date with Bill. They were married in 1973 and have two sons, Scott and Brian. Any love of music they have can be attributed to their parents, who are longtime supporters and season ticket holders of the Buffalo Philharmonic Orchestra. The Fredericks are Buffalo born and raised, and they are proud of the modest life they lead. To them, far more important than what you have is how you live your life and how you treat people. How blessed the United Way and our community are to be on the receiving end of this mindset. Thank you, Bill and Pat, for all you do for the United Way of Buffalo and Erie County, and for leading us by the humble power of humble generosity. We are proud to honor William and Patricia Frederick as the 2020 Philanthropists of the Year.
Can I say anything? Go ahead.
Thank you. How's that for a start? Yeah, we get into a good habit, no question about it, and feel so good about this, and we'll continue to do what we've been doing and help the people. Frankly, I'd like to keep this going and die with one penny left, if we could. So appreciate everything you people do, and we're just glad we were able to do this. And Pat, you?
Thank you. We're humbled.
Yeah,
Thank you.
absolutely.
Anything more?
Paulette, is there anything that you would like to share as well? Or did you leave it up to Michael?
I left it up to Michael, but Bill and Pat, thank you so much for all you do for the community. And we're so glad you're able to join us today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I also want to add that you now enter an outstanding cohort of individuals and families that have been similarly recognized. In addition to Paulette and Michael, I look at the list of other honorees. And by the way, these honorees, previous honorees, are the ones that actually selected you this year. As you probably well know, the participants may not, but that's how the process works, the voting process. But the Jacobs family, the Joya family, the Lawley family, the Zach family, the Zemsky family, the Wilson family, the list goes on. It's just incredible that there's so much commitment to philanthropy and supporting our community. And you have demonstrated that level of commitment and that passion that you have for the community. The past 16 years as a Tocqueville Society contributor, over $1 million raised over that time that has gone back into the community. It's just an outstanding representation of your commitment, your enthusiasm, and your love for our community. So thank you for everything that you've done and will continue to do on our behalf. We wouldn't be able to do it without you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. and
Michael.
Mrs. Fredericks, this is Rochelle Robinson. Thank you so much on behalf of the board, on behalf of the United Way, on behalf of the community. Thank you so much for your giving spirit and more importantly, your humility. It's impressive, very impressive. So thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. We are grateful for you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And I want to thank Michael and Paulette for stepping up and introducing you to our audience. You did a great job, and quite frankly, the community is better off because of all of the support that we get from families like both these families that are being represented today and highlighted. Your commitment to the well-being of others is impressive and helps us be more effective in our work overall. Before we go to some of the closing remarks, I wanted to see if anybody on the call has any questions that they've entered in the chat box, because I don't want to end this too soon if in fact there are individuals that are participating that want to either ask us questions or maybe want to give a testimonial to our honorees. I want to leave that open because we do have a little time here. Anybody have, Miranda, do you want to let us know if you have any questions or reactions from the audience? Got about over 120 people involved.
Yeah, sure. So no questions as of right now, but we do have a congratulations, a well-deserved honor that comes from Mary Jo Hunt.
previous honorees, Peter and Mary Jo. Thank you so much. All right, well, let me continue. When we are united, we can solve social crises facing our community. We can bring together organizations with the most effective resources. We can find new solutions to old problems. And together, we can find and mobilize people in our community who are ready to take on our community's most daunting challenges. That is why we kicked off our annual fundraising campaign early this year. As many of you may know, we actually started our campaign 3 months early, and we launched what's called the Join the Fight Fund. The nearly 3-month head start allows us more time to fundraise because we know now more than ever, the community, based on this unprecedented time, is going to be in need of as much money as we could bring in to support the long-term needs that will exist in this community while continuing to support our funded program partners providing critical services for those most in need in our community. And for a limited time, all gifts to our Join the Fight Fund will be matched dollar for dollar up to $100,000, as you can see on the screen, thanks to a grant from the National Fuel Gas Company Foundation. You can make a double that impact right now by visiting uwbec.org /join the fight and donating to support our precious community in this way. As you can see, we have significant amount of work ahead of us. United Way takes the long view and is in it for the long haul, as we've said earlier, bringing people together to help communities recover, rebuild, and thrive. And together, we have a better chance of lifting families in crisis and improving the quality of life for our community. The fight is not over. Help us as we continue to reimagine and rebuild our communities. I want to thank all of you for joining us, for helping celebrate Pat and Bill Frederick as Philanthropists of the Year, and learning a little bit more about the work we're doing in the community, whether it's about our strategic framework, whether it's about our increased commitment to and guidance around racial equity themes, or it's about joining the fight and the work we're currently doing around COVID-19. You know we're in it for the long haul, we're committed, and we are a better organization because of the support we have from all of you that are participating in today's call. So thank you so much for joining us tonight, and we hope that you will continue to stay involved in our work in the community over time. With that, I'm going to say stay safe. I'm going to check and see if there's any other. I see John Hurley has a comment here. Canisius College is proud of graduate Bill Frederick and his wife Pat. They have been great supporters of the students of Canisius. Mike Tonis said it best. They're humble, kind, and generous. Thank you so much for that observation, John. Much appreciated. And Anne Marie from Cradle Beach is giving us a little shout out, the United Way, for being incredibly flexible around our funding. And we've heard that a lot, Anne Marie, because we know we need to be agile and we need to be supportive of our not-for-profit partners along the way. And I see Sue Barlow is with us as well. And she's so excited to continue the partnership with the United Way. Thank you all so much. Stay safe, stay strong. Bye-bye now.